Welcome back. Now, our memo is almost ready. You have a recommendation? A specific one. One that points somewhere, names a mechanism, and tells a decision maker where to focus. That is not a small thing. 2 units of work went into building it. But before anyone reads part 3 and starts planning, there is one question to think of. How confident are we in the causal claim underneath it? Because buried in part 5 of the memo is a sentence you wrote yourself. Something like, this recommendation assumes that weak accountability is causing higher maternal mortality, not just appearing alongside it. That assumption has not been checked yet. That check is what this unit is for, and it starts with something simpler than a memo. Let us start with the simplest version of this problem. For example, imagine every summer two things rise together. Ice cream sales go up. Drowning deaths go up. The correlation is real. It happens consistently. But does ice cream causes drowning? Of course not. Hot weather causes both. More people swim, more people buy ice cream. The correlation exists. The causal link does not. That is the concept in the most obvious form. Now, what happens when the correlation is less obviously wrong? Here is another example. In parts of South Asia, districts with more hospital beds tend to have higher mortality rates. Someone sees this pattern and concludes hospital beds are causing deaths. Fewer beds will mean fewer deaths. Wrong. Sicker people are more likely to go to hospitals. The illness is the cause. Hospital beds are where the already sick end up. Acting on this pattern would fail and harm the people. It was meant to help. This is what it looks like when a decision follows the wrong causal arrow. The pattern is real. The interpretation is reversed. And the cost of the mistake is serious. If you remember, you built a scatter plot in module 3 around health spending and life expectancy, a positive relationship. Now, if government looks at this and decides to borrow money to increase health spending, but the national income drives both. Richer countries spend more on health and live longer because of better nutrition, education, infrastructure, and many other things that income enables. Increasing health spending without addressing those underlying conditions may produce very little change in life expectancy. The same chart you built, two different interpretations, both consistent with the numbers. Only one is useful for a decision. So, how do you check for a causal claim before acting on it? 3 questions. 1. Is there a plausible mechanism? Can you describe, in plain terms, how X actually produces Y? If you cannot describe the pathway, the claim is not yet causal. It is just a pattern. 2. Is there a comparison to places where more of X consistently show more of Y in ways that cannot easily be explained by something else driving both? 3. What is the cost of being wrong? If you act on this claim and it turns out to be incorrect, what happens? The higher the cost, the stronger the evidence needs to be before you proceed. Coming back to our case, the claim, weak accountability at the referral point is causing maternal mortality that could otherwise be prevented. Mechanism? Does a plausible pathway exist? Yes, if a community health worker sends someone to a facility and nothing follows through at the other end, that person may not receive care at the critical moment. The pathway is describable. Comparison. Does the pattern hold? In 2 of the 3 countries, the same combination appears. Strong community reach, weak accountability. High maternal mortality. The 3rd country shows stronger accountability and better outcomes. This is consistent and not conclusive. Coming to the cost of being wrong, if accountability is not the primary driver, what happens? The investment in tracking and follow-through systems still strengthens the overall system. The decision is not irreversible. The cost of being wrong is manageable. The claim is plausible. The pattern is consistent. The cost of being wrong is acceptable. The recommendation stands, and this is important. When a causal claim is plausible but not proven, the responsible move is not to wait for proof before acting. It is to act and design a way to track whether you were right. That is what a monitoring, evaluation, and learning framework does. You implement the intervention, you track the indicators, and if the evidence later shows the assumption was wrong, you adjust. So far, you have been doing great. In the next unit, let's build that framework specifically for this intervention, using a real maternal health case from a recognized source. See you there.